One thing that I was thinking about as I was growing up as a kid, one thing that was really difficult for me to get over is the fear that I had of dead things, like anything dead. If I saw something like a dead dog or a dead cat or a dead animal, I would avoid it. I'm like, oh, wonder what's going on over there. Maybe it was too many scary movies. I don't know. I grew up in the Freddy Krueger age, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, all these different ones. Even The Exorcist, and that was a little later on in life, but I traced it all the way back to the very earliest memory that I had of something that was dead. And it was one of my great aunts, I believe she was. I went to her funeral, and when we went there, I may have been 5. I looked at the program, and I looked at what I saw in the casket. I was like, why does that look different? And it immediately, and again, it may be just coming from the movies that I used to watch as a little kid, it really spooked me out. And so I carried that throughout most of my life. I kept having this fear of dead things, particularly, now I said dead things, but really it's also about dead people. I didn't like going to funerals. I avoided them at all costs until it began to hit home. When I was a freshman in college, my grandmother passed away, and that wasn't one that I could avoid. I was pushing it off. Other people were passing away. I'm like, yep. I want to extend my my condolences. I'm praying for the family, but I would not go to the funeral. But when my grandmother died, I had to go to the funeral. And then just a few years ago, when my grandfather died, I had to go to the funeral. And when I went there, I was because of the love that I had for the both of them, it overshadowed the fear that I had over dead people, because these people were people that I really cared about. So their remains in the casket did not make me afraid. And it reminds me of the scripture in Psalms 34:4, where it says, I sought the Lord and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. I sought the Lord in that moment. I was like, God, we understand to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. It hurts that these people have passed away. It hurts that they're no longer with us in the physical. Help me get through this. But when I walked into the funeral home, I walked up to the casket. I got so close. I was like, and that's when it hit me that this person that I looked up to, that I admired, they're no longer here in the physical, but they're with God in the spiritual. So what I'm trying to tell you all today is that regardless of what your fears are, I said that my fears were of dead things and dead people. I also had a fear of public speaking that you all may be aware of, that I talk about from time to time. But regardless of what your fear is, when you seek the Lord, for him to be able to take care of the situation, for him to intervene, for him to give you the strength. The Bible also talks about, for the God has not blessed us with a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. A lot of the times our fear makes us so irrational. It makes us so boxed in. I was so boxed in. There was people that passed away that I went to school with. I was like, man, I just can't. I felt like I could not do it. Fear will make you paralyzed to where you can't be used by God, where you refuse to be used by God. God is there like, I want you to be able to do this, but you're like, I can't, because I'm still stuck in my fear. And if we really break it all the way down, and if I really think about my own fear, it was me also being selfish. I didn't want to face the fact that I was even afraid of something. And being a man, it's hard for you to admit, yeah, I'm scared of dead things. You'll come up with excuses. Hey, it's not a good time for me. Or, hey, I have something to do. We always try to put off what we should be addressing now. And what I'm telling you is that any fear that you may have is not too big for God. He wants to be able for you to seek him in it, and he'll deliver you from all your fears. Not some of your fears, but all of your fears. Will you give it to him?